Marcus, obviously a disappointing result to start the series. What are your reflections?
Yeah, I think always disappointing to lose, right? And I think getting bowled out in the within the innings and not getting enough runs, that's probably where the game lied. The little bit of rain that came down, affected the sort of pitch, and it did slide on a little bit more. But the damage was done, really. Getting bowled out for just over 200. It's obviously, you're not going to win many games, and you can't afford to keep doing that.
Obviously, a disappointing result on the batting front, but 4 debuts being handed out, being part of a group that's seeing such an amount of change and such an amount of opportunity being given out, that must have been very exciting.
Look, I think any new guys coming in is a real special feeling to see them play. They work so hard to get that moments where you get your cap and coming into it, and they've been rewarded for the hard work they've done within the game back at home. So, really special times. A couple of them had opportunities and put in a couple of performances. So, we got a bit more of a series and obviously a longer period of time to go before we, to get more and more games into these sort of guys.
Obviously, you were in charge for the Australia series and now the West Indies series, 2 very different groups that you've been managing. How does the message change between the 2 groups where you've got these new players who are in the knowledge that they've got these guys potentially coming back in to take their spots?
Yeah, I think the information and the mantra of how we're going to play white ball cricket isn't going to change. Whether you've got the team you had against Australia, the team we've got here, or the different coaches that are going to change between myself and Brendan. So it will be a very similar sort of approach. We're trying to drive it in the same sort of way. So the guys here are getting the experience at the moment, and then it may change. Who knows? But the opportunity is that for their guys to come in now and put in performances that can sort of get them into the teams when you're going into the India series or into the Champions Trophy. So opportunity is great, and that's why they've got to try and look upon it in the best way possible to see what they can do.
You mentioned the batting today. Just how difficult is it for some of these guys, like Jordan Cox, on England debut at number 3, coming in on ODI debut, and he's played 4 List A games in his career. It feels like something over the past year or two that players have spoken about more is recognising that there is quite a big difference between the 20 over format and the 50 over format.
Yeah.
As a former batter yourself, how difficult is it for those players to approach this challenge and adapt to this format?
Well, they're very capable of doing that. I think it's trying to pick up the rhythm of batting in the 50 over game, and understanding, of course, they haven't played a massive amount of this format, so we allow them that and understand the principle of it. But it's becoming more and more like a T20 game for 50 overs. In more of the games that we see, it's just when pitches don't allow it, when you play on these sort of conditions, that's where that little bit of smartness comes in, that you've got to try and adapt. And I think the experience of playing in these sort of conditions really tells when that happens. So we just allow them a little bit of time. Obviously, anyone playing their debut on a good pitch or a bad pitch is always quite challenging, and obviously we had 4 of those today, but great experience for them.
And on the flip side with the ball, both John Turner and Jofra Archer, I know they went wicketless, but they seem to both bowl very well, very nice spells. More so on Turner on debut, what were your thoughts on him and first impressions of him out in the middle?
Very good. We're delighted to give him sort of debut because he's been around the team for a number of series, home and away, in the last sort of 18 months. And we've seen a real class performer there behind the scenes. So to give him an opportunity today, there were some real good signs. He went past the bat on numerous occasions. And could have easily have picked up 2 or 3 wickets in the power play. It just didn't happen, but really nice to see him get a chance and see what he can do in England colours.
And on a personal level, how have you been finding the role? This is your 2nd series in charge. Obviously it's an interim position with McCullum coming in January, but have you enjoyed the taste of being head coach?
Yeah, very much so. It's a good experience. I'm really enjoying the challenge of doing things differently. It's a very different approach from being an assistant coach, where you're very much more hands-on in terms of the skills work that goes on. But here, you're chatting to players, working things out, setting plans, trying to work out bowling plans, and what you're going to try and do. So very different and a great opportunity for me. I'd obviously love to try and get a few more victories and a couple of series wins along the way.
And finally, I don't know how much you'll be able to speak to this, but have you spoken at all about what your role with the England setup might be from January onwards? Are you going to return to the kind of test setup in an assistant role, or have you now got this taste of being a head coach and might be looking elsewhere?
No, I won't be looking elsewhere. No, I think we're still waiting on confirmation of how it's all going to look, but we've still got a period of time with a bit of test cricket and white ball cricket before Christmas, before the structures are really worked out. We've got a bit of an idea, but it's nothing set in stone on how it's going to look. But whatever it'll be, whether we're working with white ball or red ball, it's exciting times for England cricket.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.